Let's be totally honest for a second here. We are all living through a massive epidemic of burnout. Between the endless notifications, the pressure to optimize every single hour of our day, and just that heavy baseline global anxiety we're all carrying, our nervous systems are completely fried. But what if the antidote to all this cognitive fatigue wasn't some ridiculously expensive supplement or a total life overhaul? What if it was a targeted neurobiological protocol that you literally already have the hardware for? Today, we're unpacking the rigorous, peer-reviewed neuroscience of gratitude. We're going to see exactly how this seemingly simple practice physically rewires your brain for peak resilience. So, are you stuck in this loop of chronic stress, brain fog, and just deep exhaustion? If you're nodding your head right now, I really want to validate exactly where you are. See, when we experience chronic stress, our brain physically shifts into survival mode, this relentless fight, flight, or freeze state. And here's the reality of that state. When you're in it, generic wellness advice like just think positive or count your blessings feels absolutely useless, right? Honestly, it can make you want to scream because you just can't force a stressed nervous system to relax. We have to look under the hood first. To do that, we absolutely have to draw a hard line between two very different things: toxic positivity and genuine gratitude. Toxic positivity is basically just an attempt to escape reality. It's forcing a smile and pretending everything is fine when your body literally feels like it's falling apart. Genuine gratitude is completely different. It's the intentional effort to cultivate deep appreciation while fully acknowledging the reality of your current struggles. It's not about ignoring the bad. It's about actively training your brain to scan the world for the good right alongside it. I really want you to shift your perspective here, away from those soft wellness tropes. Gratitude is not just a fleeting emotion, and it's definitely not just a polite thank you card. It is a highly targeted biological intervention. Decades of clinical research actually show that it acts as a physical switch to downregulate your sympathetic nervous system. The system responsible for that exhausting, high-alert, buzzing anxiety. We are talking about hard science and actionable neurooptimization here. To really grasp how this works, we have to meet the main player in your brain's stress response, the amygdala. Think of your amygdala as this overly enthusiastic security guard that treats every single thing, an email, a traffic jam, a minor disagreement, like a literal life or death emergency. In states of burnout, this threat detection center is hyperactive. It's always on. But clinical studies show that practicing gratitude actively calms the hypothalamus and directly reduces this amygdala reactivity. You're essentially training that security guard to stand down and assess threats accurately, which brings profound relief to a wired nervous system. And this downregulation, it actually builds into a literal hardware upgrade for your brain. When you practice gratitude consistently, neuroimaging shows real structural changes. First, your medial prefrontal cortex, the area that handles emotional regulation and decision-making, actually increases in gray matter volume. Then, your anterior cingulate cortex strengthens its connections, which boosts your capacity for empathy. And perhaps the biggest game changer for anyone dealing with anxiety, gratitude quiets the default mode network. This is the me center of your brain. It's where those 2 a.m. worries and depressive spiraling thought loops live. Gratitude physically turns down the volume on that negative rumination. Now, while those structural changes do take some time, gratitude also delivers an immediate, real-time neurochemical cocktail. Right away, you get a hit of dopamine, the motivation molecule, which lights up your reward center. Then, serotonin, nature's mood stabilizer, is released, naturally combating anxiety and depression. Finally, you get oxytocin. That's the bonding hormone. It floods your system, rapidly downregulating fear and building deep trust. So you aren't just thinking happy thoughts, you are chemically bathing your brain in resilience. And what exactly is the result of that chemical bath? Well, 23%. Clinical data reveals that individuals who maintain a consistent gratitude practice see a 23% drop in cortisol, which is your body's primary stress hormone. Just let that sink in. Imagine taking nearly a quarter of your daily stress load completely off your shoulders simply by changing how you process the events of your day. We also see this shift electrically. If we were to hook you up to an EEG monitor right now, a gratitude practice literally shifts your brain waves. It pulls you right out of those frantic, high-stress beta waves that completely dominate our modern workdays, and it guides you smoothly into alpha waves, that amazing state of relaxed alertness and flow. In moments of really deep, profound gratitude, we even see spikes in gamma waves, which are associated with high-level cognitive insight and absolute mental clarity. And this neural rewiring absolutely does not stay trapped in your head. It cascades through your entire body. By shifting you into parasympathetic dominance, that crucial rest and digest state, gratitude promotes profound physical healing. It actually strengthens your immune response, meaning your body is way better equipped to fight off illness. In fact, people who regularly practice gratitude report significantly fewer physical complaints, like fewer headaches, better digestion, and way less of that heavy daily fatigue. Which brings us to another incredible piece of data: 25%. A foundational 2003 study found that people who kept a simple weekly gratitude journal experience a 25% increase in overall happiness compared to folks who just recorded daily hassles. They also exercised more and just felt better physically. Guys, this isn't some marginal 1% gain. A 25% boost in your baseline well-being, that is completely life-changing. So let's break down exactly how that physical, somatic shift happens from the inside out. First up is sleep. Gratitude directly alters your pre-sleep cognitions. So instead of lying in bed mentally rehearsing tomorrow's difficult conversation, your brain focuses on positive information, which lets you actually fall asleep and, more importantly, stay asleep. Second, it lowers resting blood pressure, supporting your overall cardiovascular health. And third, it reduces cellular inflammation. Studies show it literally drops key inflammatory markers like TNF-alpha and IL-6. Since chronic inflammation is the root cause of nearly every major disease, this is an absolutely vital longevity habit. But let's be totally real about timelines for a second, because modern wellness culture really loves to overpromise these quick fixes. It takes about 6 weeks of consistent gratitude writing to see measurable, undeniable reductions in amygdala reactivity and systemic inflammation. Week 1, it might feel clunky, maybe even a little forced. Your brain is building new pathways, and that takes actual energy. But if you persist, the biological rewiring is guaranteed. You are laying the concrete foundation for a remarkably resilient nervous system. So how do we actually do this? How do we design our lifestyle for real neuro-optimization? We're going to look at 2 highly specific clinical protocols. These are not just nice ideas you'd find on a motivational poster. These are evidence-backed habits specifically designed to pull you out of burnout and build lasting emotional fortitude. But right before you put pen to paper, you really need to prime the brain. A powerful way to start is through visualization. Just close your eyes and vividly recall a past positive experience. Allow yourself to actively relive the gratitude you felt in that exact moment. This simple act of active recall jumpstarts that dopamine and serotonin release we talked about, perfectly preparing your neural pathways for the actual exercise. Okay, here is protocol 1, the 3 things exercise. First, keep a dedicated journal right by your bed. Second, right before going to sleep, write down 3 specific good things that happened that day. But step 3 is where the real neuroplasticity happens. Don't just list them out. Reflect on the intention of the person who helped you, the cost to them, and the value of that benefit to your life. Doing this actively interrupts the day's accumulated stress and signals to your brain that it is finally safe to enter deep, restorative sleep. Now, if you want to pull out the heavy artillery for nervous system regulation, we look at protocol 2, the gratitude visit. This is basically the nuclear option. Step 1, write a 300-word letter to someone who profoundly, positively changed your life, but who you never properly thanked. Step 2, call them or visit them in person. Step 3, read the letter aloud to them. The neuroscience here is absolutely staggering. This creates a massive, synchronized oxytocin release in both you and the receiver. It dramatically lowers cortisol levels and builds intense social connection almost instantly. Let's just take a moment to breathe here and let all that science settle. Henry Ward Beecher once said, "Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul." And, while we can measure the gray matter changes, the dopamine spikes, and the drop in cortisol levels, we also have to remember that this clinical practice is deeply rooted in our shared human experience. It's fundamentally about how we connect to ourselves, to the people around us, and to the world we live in. So I want to leave you with this final, provocative question. Are you going to continue letting chronic stress and burnout dictate your biology? Or will you take just 10 minutes tonight to use gratitude to literally rewire your brain? You have to hardware. You now know the protocols. The choice to optimize your resilience is completely in your hands.